Hi everybody, Alex Deploy here from Expert Forex, and today we're tackling the tricky question of daylight savings. How do the various daylight savings adjustments in London and New York impact Forex traders, and what should they do about these adjustments? So these adjustments are further complicated by the fact that the UK and the US have different dates for their daylight savings adjustments. So on your screen you can see an analysis of what's going to be happening over the next 10 days or so. So today, which is Friday the 27th, this is the situation. We have the London and New York opens, and then we have GMT in this particular one. So we in this particular column. So we have three columns. And the important thing here is actually the London Open and the New York Open relative to GMT. So at the moment, GMT at the time of the London Open is 8 o'clock. The London London financial system mainly is all open at 9 o'clock. New York then opens at 9 o'clock in the morning when it is 1 o'clock GMT, or 1300 hours. Now on Monday all of that changes in that London will be opening at GMT times, but New York will still remain, the open of New York will still remain at 1300 hours. Bit complicated. Then the following week after the New York adjustment, the situation will be London is in alignment with GMT, and New York, the New York Open will now be at 1400 hours or 2 o'clock in the afternoon GMT. So those are the changes that are occurring in the next 10 days. So how do we handle this from a Forex trading perspective? So before you all rush off to get your calculators and pieces of paper to do complicated calculations on, let's just apply some common sense and logic to all of this. The first thing that you need to do is decide, does your trading method or EA that you're using actually pay attention to daylight saving issues? In other words, if you're using indicators like the moving average crossover indicator, the RSI or momentum indicators, those kind of indicators don't know about daylight saving, so their signals will be there whether there's daylight saving or not. So if you're using a very indicator-based system that uses particularly long-term charts or even short-term charts, you really don't have to worry about daylight saving adjustments, because the charts will still give the signals at the times when they will happen. So that's the good news. The other good news is that certain brokers make adjustments to their charts anyway. So if you're using a UK broker, and the UK broker says, let's say, it has an offset of GMT plus 3, when the adjustment happens, they will just automatically change their charts to GMT plus 2, and they will be in alignment. So the open of the London market will still occur at the same time on your charts. So you need to have a look at whether your own broker is making adjustment and whether it's not. And if it is, there's a good chance that you don't need to do any adjustments. The problem, however, comes in is if your system that you are using relies on price action that occurs in the open of the UK market and the US market, then you've got this misalignment, and you would have to manage your EA and your trading method accordingly. And when I say accordingly, all you need to be aware of is when is the UK market opening and when is the US market opening relative to the philosophy of your trading method. If your trading method relies very strongly on the volatility in those openings, obviously you need to adjust your trading approach or your EA settings over that particular period. And it is a tricky period this week where there's a misalignment between London and the UK's adjustments. So the question you need to ask is, which market does my EA or trading method focus on? And as you can see, I'm not giving you specific, oh, you need to add +1 hour or +2 hours. You have to work this out logically and use the open of the London, the open of the US, and GMT as your alignment methods. Now, where can you get information about what your broker time is, what GMT is, what the London time is, and what the US time is? Now, I use a good website called Time and Date, and let's flip to that website and I'll just take you through that, and hopefully that will help you align your Forex trading. But remember, if you're trading really indicator-based systems, you don't really need to do this. It's only if your EA is particularly a time-based one that you might have to make some adjustments. Okay, so here we are on the Time and Date website, and what I normally do is I create meetings between the various places. So I go to the time zone section and I go to International Meeting Planner and I click on that, and I then put in GMT as the one place that I want to know the time of. The other place is London, and the other place is New York. Let's just get that one, New York. Okay, so now we've got our three main parties. We can add another one. If you know that your broker uses, for instance, Moscow time, a lot of brokers do that, but although they're using Moscow time, they also do adjust at the same time. So you have to be careful of that. You have to follow what your broker time is, and I will show you how to find out what your broker time is. It has nothing to do where your computer is located or where your broker is located. I'll show you exactly where to see that. So once you've got your 3 or even 4 cities, because your broker time could be a 4th city, all you then say is show the timetable. And what this system will then do is, and you can go into a future date or into a past date with the system. I'll just show you, you can nominate the date that you want. So if you want to see what's going to happen on Monday, what's going to happen the next Monday, that type of thing, you just align it there. And it will then show you an alignment of the times. For instance, here we are, there's the London Open over today. There is the GMT time, and there is the New York time. So what you then do is you just go to the next week and you look at what the situation is there, and so on. And this gives you fantastic information to make your Forex trading adjustments. Now, the other thing that you need to follow is what time your broker uses. Now, as I said, some brokers use Moscow time, others use middle of Europe time, and I'll just show you how you find that out. Now, I've just opened the Telenex platform, and what you then do is you open the Market Watch section of the platform, which is basically that icon, or you click on View and click on Market Watch. Market Watch will give you the server time that your broker is using. So there's the time. It's at the moment 5:15, and that's how you find your broker time. So how do you then relate this back to GMT or the London Open or the US Open? So let me show you how to do that. Now remember, the time now is 05:16. Please don't forget about Mr. Google. All you go is you say GMT time, and you click on that, and it'll give you the GMT time. So there we are. That tells us that Telenex is aligned with GMT. So the charts and the EAs that are aligned with GMT can safely run on Telenex. Now next week they might adjust it, or even the next week. So you've got to follow this. Certain brokers have different approaches to daylight savings, so you need to follow this very carefully. But this is how you do it. And again, I must stress, use your common sense and logic. Don't try and use, the minute you start to develop rules, you'll get confused and you'll confuse yourself. Just make sure you understand the relationship between your broker time, the London Open, the US Open, and GMT. GMT actually becomes less important if you understand your broker time, the US market, and the UK market. So I hope I've simplified this from the point of view that the majority of traders aren't affected by daylight saving because their broker adjusts for it and the techniques that they use aren't impacted by daylight saving. It's only the guys that are using very specific price action techniques that rely on the open of the London session or the US session, or EAs that are also very time-based that rely on the volatility in those particular times, that need to do that adjustment, sometimes only for a week and then for the next 5 to 6 months. Now, I hope I've given you just some guidance as to approaching this problem. Don't panic about it. Just go about it in a calm, logical, and common sense way, and you'll get the answers that you want. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio. Join our mailing list to keep up to date with Forex developments. Please use the link provided. If you need a Forex broker, we've been using Telenex for 5 years and we are very happy with them. Please use the link provided to open a demo or a live account.